Cloud9 1-0 lead, looking to push themselves up towards that match point.
Yep.
We'll see what they want to change up. You know, we saw 100 Thieves got side selection. They went towards blue side, so they are going to be the ones having first pick. Cloud9 says no Renekton for you. So at the very least, we know that is going to be a change up here. And I'll be interested to see how different these drafts are looking. You know, is Perkz going to get last pick? Are they going to go something super aggressive for him again? Try to really have him be on a champion that is proactive, that can make things happen? Or are Cloud9 going to show us a different style?
I'm going to guess Perkz this entire series is going to play like high octane 1v9, you know, XD, I'm stuck in Elo Hell kind of champions, because this is Perkz as a player, and he's like, there's no way Ryoma is as good as me. I agree, by the way. There's no way Ryoma is as good as Perkz. So it's like, you know, why not just ego on the guy and take him down time after time, because it's going to work, right? He blind picked Yone and was like, you grabbed Orianna in Lost Lane. Congratulations. You want to do it again? I have counterpick this time. So, like, there's no reason not to ego pick, I feel like, if you're Perkz. So, that's how I would do it if I was Cloud9. We'll see what happens. Obviously, Udyr and Olaf going to be high-prize champions. We see the Renekton ban, as it feels like Cloud9 willing to first pick it, but not give away first pick themselves. And so we'll see what the rest of the draft looks like. Interesting
to see Cloud9 going to be able to actually get the Olaf. I just feel like for the last year and a half, pretty much anytime Blabber gets this champion, they just win, right? You know, and this happened last year in spring, where he was playing Olaf a lot, and he had 100% win rate on it, and people were eventually like, okay, you actually just cannot allow Blabber to play this champion or you lose. And it's kind of felt similarly this year as well. You know, when he did actually grab it, he has looked very dominant. He does have one loss on it this year, but one loss over the 2 years and some pretty incredible games is scary.
He's got a KDA of 7, and I'm looking at like Cloud9's overall ban stats. 77% of games, you ban Olaf against Cloud9. Second place is 31% at Pantheon. It's like, it's actually always. You just aren't allowed to do this. But in this case, 100 Thieves say, no, we think Udyr is better. It is Fudge's, I would maybe say, strongest performing champion so far this year, so they take that one away. Sion going to be the last pick right here for Cloud9. Just, you know what, YOLO tank duty. They, in fact, do grab the blind Orianna as well, though, so both solos going to be grabbed up. They are against a very strong late game, though. Jinx can absolutely take over games with a Thresh Udyr to set up in frontline for her.
So double blind pick for the solo laners, but no parity in the selections here, right? You know, Cloud9 is going to be able to ban out any sort of picks that they're perhaps concerned about. You know, maybe feeling in this case as it's clearly not that kind of like 1v9 style champion that you were talking about, thinking Perkz would go towards. Maybe in this case, just feeling like, hey, this is actually Ryoma's best champion. You know, this is going to be what works for our composition. I do think that Orianna plus the Olaf is a really common composition. That's something that people really do enjoy, allowing the Olaf to have even more effectiveness towards the later stages of the game, shield him up, speed him up, and really allow him to get in there and get very, very effective in these team fights. The early Jinx should be exciting. As you say, Jinx is a champion who can scale incredibly well towards those later stages of the game. But that being said, in the early stages, especially, dealing with Olaf can be incredibly hard for Jinx, who doesn't have any sort of a dash. You're going to be relying on Thresh to reposition you with that Lantern to try to keep you safe if this guy is getting on top of you, because he can pop the ultimate and just run straight in. Senna feeling like it pairs incredibly well with that also. You know, the Senna to be able to ult over top, allowing these divers in the Sion and the Olaf to have more shielding, more additional damage coming across, and Tahm Kench is open. 100 Thieves aren't going to take Tahm Kench top, so you pretty much can guarantee that it's going to be Senna TK bot.
Just you wait.
Sorry, I'm waiting.
Yeah, it's not. It's a 0 Aatrox.
Okay, so Aatrox coming through. That is interesting. It's not really what I would call like a super dominant pick against the Sion. You know, I generally feel like if I'm playing a champion like Sion against Udyr or Aatrox, the only type of the game I'm worried at all is the early levels. If you get abused and you get behind early, then yes, the Aatrox can get to this point where Aatrox is just kind of out healing everything you're doing and maybe getting really aggressive. But as long as Fudge is not abused early on, you're going to get some levels under your belt, you're going to get some armor, and you're going to be just fine to just clear out waves over and over and over, and then look towards that team fight stage, where I do think it's going to be tougher for Aatrox to really have a lot of effectiveness. You know, you're going to have the Tahm Kench there to gobble up any carry that is in danger if you do find that flank, so it's going to have to be multiple angles that they are coming at you at. But that being said, 100 Thieves have incredible scaling, right? You essentially have 3 champions to get in front of the Jinx and the Azir, and the Jinx and the Azir to be able to burn people down on that Cloud9 side. So if they can't get to those later stages, get 3+ items, Olaf may have a lot of trouble, really surviving when he's trying to fly into these team fights. And that's going to be kind of the threshold that 100 Thieves have to get over. If you can get over that hump to where Blabber can't just run in at you at a team fight without just dying, well, then team fighting, I think, becomes fairly hard for Cloud9 at that stage.
Yeah, and one of the nice things that works out here, seeing that the Olaf is already grabbed by the time they pick the Jinx Thresh, is he's not going to stop you from lanterning, right? This isn't, an Alistar Hecarim where if you do it right, you break the lantern apart and you get knocked back out and you'll still meet. Olaf just walks at you and then you lantern over to the map and you're like, oh, I guess, well, I'm still here. Let me run over with rockets flying at my face and it'll work out nicely. So yes, if the duo lane plays very well, if Rayoma continues to team fight well as he has been so far for 100 Thieves, this is a pretty good lineup for late-game team fighting. The engage is not that strong, but we already know 100 Thieves reliably get the early dragons and stack them up. And we had 3 straight dragons in the last game. They just couldn't quite get over the hump with team fighting. We'll see if it changes here as Fudge on Cyan is a bit less of a flanker, more of a straight-up engage. We'll see what that one looks like as well, and how dynamic Blabber and co can be as we're onto the Rift. Sven and Vulcan taking their turn to play Senna Tahm Kench, with Vulcan once again taking teleport on support, just like who he did last game.
It's going to be very interesting to see how that does go. I would also say, the biggest concern, I think, on the 100 Thieves side is just, does Blabber run over the early game? Because he has done it so many times on this champion. He is just an absolute freak at Olaf. He just seems to be able to get more done than really anyone else in the LCS, and has been this way for a long time. 100 Thieves is also a team that has such good dragon control, such good objective control early, and that's how they create a lot of their win conditions, is by getting priority bottom lane. They have an incredible duo there, and then taking a lot of dragons. And it's actually C9 looking for a 5-man invade here early on. It will be spotted, and the sweeper does see that. So they're trying to set up a split map situation here, but it's pretty surprising to see that Fudge is also down here. He will be moving up towards top lane now, but definitely going to miss some XP. So they were expecting... though.
They're going to fight 2-on-2 in the tri-brush. They're going to face check right into Thresh Jinx.
I think they know this. Fight it. Yeah, they know this. They moved Tahm Kench ahead of Senna. You can see on the minimap, Sven was actually ahead of Vulcan, and they just waited and rearranged it, so they would have to actually open up on the Tahm Kench if they wanted to go for that. But yeah, some experience lost for Fudge, but they were really willing to go for that fight, potentially thinking that there could have been a stack waiting for it from 100 Thieves, but bottom side pressure already going to be in the favor of Blabber here, and he's mid lane.
Flash Q looks for Rayoma. Of course, he wasn't level 2 yet, so no way to get out. And either way, you'd learn Q regardless. So, a nice little attempt there. Trade of flashes, had to burn it, but I think a nice play. And yeah, Olaf's able to get topside in time, right? He's able to get to the part where he can at least take his chickens away from what Closer would steal. But without a ward seeing Closer, he can still get right behind this Olaf. I don't know if they saw each other. I'm not sure. If Blabber's going to leave, he's like, you know what? I got one camp. It's okay. I took 2 of yours, took 1 of mine, and we're out.
Yeah, he knows now. They do have a ward on that red, so Closer would have been 3, so it would have been a little bit dicey there for Blabber, who had no mana. I think that's one of the biggest problems if he wanted to try to take that fight. So we'll be just taking away that 1 from his side. It is going to be in a split map. This does mean Cloud9 are likely going to be the ones stacking dragons this time. Huhi with a swing and a miss on that.
Yeah,
play,
that's bold. He was predicting the juke, and now 3v1 topside. You know it's split map. You know Closer's topside, so Fudge, can he outplay this one? Waiting until Rayoma shows up as well for maximum damage. Flash the way as Closer pulls aggro, jumps right back out, and the rest of the damage is going to come through. Rayoma took aggro, has 100 health left, and all he can do is wave clear and get some farm back on this champion.
It's interesting that Perkz didn't actually match the TP. I think they could have held that pretty easily had Perkz just TP'd right when the Azir did. That's not the call they go for. This is the more risk-averse play, of course, but they're actually just going to TP right back to top, see if they can get anything done up here. Perkz will get the shove and the reset, but of course, Fudge did go down. It's going to be more concerning if he dies again here, though, as he has no flash or teleport now, and this will get a little bit awkward.
Well, as Someday walks back in after the first taste of blood, keep in mind LCS has partnered with the Blood Centers of America. If you've had COVID-19, we do need your plasma, so please donate and earn a KDA skin. But first, it's back in. It's time for second blood. We can bring it back up again, maybe. Fudge gonna try to stay alive as Perkz now is here and Closer. Yeah, he's not long for the world. Fudge gets him back. And now is it enough for Someday? No, he's gonna get chased down, but is it enough for Perkz though? Next cooldown's coming back soon. Not enough damage. Someday gonna walk away 1 for 1.
Closer could have just walked away. You know, I think that's actually really bad for 100 Thieves because Someday has to leave potentially here. Okay, he's going to be able to come back and actually get that wave, so that's not as bad as I did originally think it was going to be. But when Perks TP's in, Someday was just looking to leave. Someday was backing off, and Perks is going to arrive, and Closer's trying to take that fight anyway.
Devour's down, apparently has to flash away, then get him back, and woof, just barely getting away with this one. Ram on the way down, though. A lot of early roams finally for the 100 Thieves mid laner, and getting some summoners out of Cloud9's bot lane.
Yeah, nice little bit of pressure there. They do get those 2 summoners, so we can watch this as the initial dive. You know, Fudge, I think, played about as well as he could. He's not level 3 in this situation. The only thing to criticize here is if he actually let that Q go off a split second earlier, maybe could have got a bit more damage out, but I don't think it would have hit the Azir either way. Now, this is the play I'm kind of more interested in talking about. It looks like a really great repeat gank. Perks does elect to TP on this one, but now look at Someday. He's saying, all right, we're leaving. We're leaving, right? We're leaving? Oh, we're not leaving? Closer is clearly committed to fighting that, and Someday just wanted to get out of there, right? You could have actually just walked up, threatened that gank, get the TP out, and just back off. And then he just spent his TP for nothing, right? And that is one of those situations where very clearly the communication is not there between Someday and Closer. And this kind of has been a point of discussion about that 100 Thieves top side for a lot of the split of why don't they focus more on Someday? And some people are quick to say it's because Closer and Someday don't work well together.
Yep, they don't seem to. You know, no one yelled out, and that would have been Someday who would have done it, or Closer wasn't loud enough to be like, we kill this guy, stay. Either way, it was different pages on that book, and yeah, it's a choose-your-own adventure that went very poorly for the 100 Thieves side. End of the day, it was still a 1-for-1. You know, they did clean up Fudge, and you know, you can see the top lane.
It's not horrible.
Yeah, same number of kills, CS within 4. They're, okay, level lead right now, but just barely 6 on Someday. It's not the worst, but it is obviously a lead for topside, right? Someday is ahead here. The ganks have functionally paid off, but it's a split map. Blabber has been topside for most of it. He's going to be taking this Mountain Drake down. You, kind of with expectation, you have Senatomkich with lane pressure overall, and this should be pretty safe.
Going to be able to grab that. Looks like no problem. Closer is playing up towards that top side. The other question is just like, you know, what do you get more out of, not just based on the gold, but also the champions, right? Because putting Sion behind, sure, it's nice, but Sion functions really no matter what. You know, he is a tough champion to make super useless, so, you know, I'm not sure that they're going to get as much out of this. Of course, it is actually Cloud9 that engaged this swap, though, so Blabber now coming in, they're going to look for their own dive.
The turret, they know who he's flashless, but Vulcan a bit too low, and maybe they're worried about warming the tower up too soon, so no dive going to happen. They knew there was no TP anywhere. They knew, I mean, I think they even saw Closer. No one was there to help. This was an obvious 3v2. Decided, no, this dive is not going to work. Let's not go for the play. We're out on this one as Fudge gets pushed around a little bit. Yoinked back in. Good damage. Yeah, Someday will have a gold lead in this game. He's got maybe the most gold in the game right now with, you know, more or less highest CS plus the kill. Maybe this turns out that Aatrox can carry. We'll see if it happens on the other side, though. Ram goes to the big play on the Perks, pushes him right into Closer. Perks does have Flash, doesn't yet need to burn it as Closer's already there. Sorry, Blabber's already there, and just chasing him down is big damage. Shockwave was already down, so no follow-up. Ram can save his Flash.
Blabber, right place, right time to keep him safe there, as this should be gobbled up. A little bit slow there from Vulcan, takes a bit more damage perhaps than needed, but you know, this is giving Jinx a free lane, so that is something that we also have to take into consideration. You know, 100 Thieves has put their pressure towards topside, towards getting Someday ahead, and really Cloud9 have, on the other side of the map, just got a dragon for it. The Jinx lane is going great for 100 Thieves, so they are looking pretty strong. Closer up here again to attack Fudge, and Blabber is on the Rift Herald,
Round
so
3. He's got dead. Flash. Flash done comes in. Flash out, though.
Okay.
You know you can trade Flash for Flash. You're not getting much out of that.
Yeah, nicely done. Didn't actually realize his Flash had come right back up. So able to get out of those Infernal Chains. The stun obviously not lasting long enough to yank him back. So Fudge does survive, and Blabber actually gets the topside objective as well. Is going to move up towards his own red buff after taking away Closers. So we'll see where he wants to go with this Rift Herald. If it will be, you know, to try to get Fudge back in, if it's going to be more of a focus on perks, more what we saw last game from them. But I expect Cloud9 to continue to try to stack these dragons, and it's going to be more up to 100 Thieves to try to choose when they want to try to contest it, right? It's kind of the role reversal from the previous game.
All right, plate number 2 easily taken. Number 3 not far away either, but keep in mind, as you mentioned a second ago, Blabber has the first Rift Herald. That's going to mean at least 2 plates in the lane of his choosing to answer back on the pressure top side. Taking a recall, maybe on a ward, but doesn't really have to matter here, so I'm not going to stop him. It's just someday stacking up and trying to be the primary carry. You can see his first recall gave him a cull. He is really trying to be the big force in this game to go kind of alongside and complement the Jinx that, as you mentioned as well, free farming 76 CS on Jinx, pretty solid here, right? Highest in the game right now. This will be matched by the Tom Kent, sure, but it's still good income.
Yeah, exactly. I think Vulcan also has done a pretty good job farming, but you know, Jinx is one of the champions that's tougher to get through that lane phase sometimes. As Hui going in.
Yeah, not in flay range though. Not going to find the root on Zen's side either, but decent damage on a Hui, earns him 60 gold and a soul, worth about 35 itself, and that's still going to feel pretty reasonable as they're knocking down waves back and forth. Free farming Jinx, we'll see when that comes to matter. Early boots too, I actually like quite a lot. I think it's very, very good on a champion like Jinx, who doesn't have any of their movement spills. As Blabber gets the Gromp, sets up the blue, hands it off to Perks, and there you go, the pickup, no problem.
I'm going to be interested to see what the Mythic purchase is here from Jinx. Some players really do like Gale Force, again, for a similar reason, because you don't actually have those movement speed abilities to be able to dodge out from skill shots, dodge away, you know, from engages. But of course, you know, Sion is going to be a problem. Tom Kench is going to be a problem. They're going to be very tanky too. Nice shockwave.
Big shockwave, but Remo holds the E. Knows, look, you can't one-shot me. It's not going to be enough damage. Blabber can't interrupt. Will jump back after this one goes down, and the Herald going to be summoned just to start with plate number 1 on mid lane. So just to give 100 gold or so. Vulcan, is he going to walk into range? Or Sven? Okay, they are going to let the gold go to just Perks and Blabber. Not showing it any further ways. But it just means 2 and a fraction of a plate knocked down in mid. That's it.
Yeah, gold very even at this point. And of course, the other option for the Jinx to return to that is just the Kraken Slayer. You know, the additional DPS. To be able to actually knock down the Sion. I don't think we would see shield bow. To me, that really wouldn't make sense.
Can't be anymore.
Of course, yeah, with the pickaxe coming through, definitely will not be the case. So I'm going to be interested to see that choice. I think in pro, you know, we would be more likely to actually see Gale Force just because pros generally really prioritize movement abilities and the ability to outplay with that.
Sure, yeah. I'm going to bet Kraken just because I think he sees 2.5 tanks,
Sion,
counting
Olaf,
Blabber as half.
Tom Kench,
yeah. And it's like, you know what? This is just like, this is a Kraken
like
Hurricane game.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, this is what my build is. Perks might get scooped. No, he's not in range, and Ryoma has to burn flash, but be careful. Could still be attacked, has a lantern. If he wanted to quit the flash to get the scoop, that would have worked, but yeah, nice job by Perks to walk just fast enough to get away. Could find boots too for Perks, means he can outrun him, and was able to make that one happen. So second Dragon now on the plate. Ryoma clearly not able to fight anymore. Means there is no contest. This is going over.
And this is one of those problems where I think sometimes as a player, you just have to choose really carefully. Are you going to fully commit to a play or not commit, right? And he kind of chose halfway through. He committed the ulti, but not the flash. And then because the ulti didn't hit and he's taking return fire, he then has to flash away, right? So it would have actually just been much better to either just not go for it at all or probably flash and commit towards that, guaranteeing the ulti would scoop in Perks and try to make something happen from it.
Yeah. I think a mistake there from FBI. There's no reason not to Jinx Rocket there. You're not looking for an all-in anytime soon. There's no other objectives coming up in the next 2 minutes. You might as well toss it out there and get a decent chance at taking that dragon away. It's Olaf. He's in melee range. He's going to give you the splash. It was on a ward. Minor missed opportunity, but you never know. Maybe we go to the part where it's going to be a dragon soul fight and there's a chance one got stolen away. Either way, not a huge deal. Bot lane being pushed in. About to find their first plate for Vulcan and Sven. That hook's not going to be much. There's no way you've got go past that one and take Senna damage. Blabber going for a second red steal. Gets it. Nice shockwave on a closer. Flashless. And he's going to flash to follow, but he can't get far enough up. Oh, Blabber, a heartbreaker. But a good escape for Closer all the same.
Yeah, that was really close to getting on the right side there. Closer just now getting his flashback, so he would have been dead to rights if Blabber could have got to the other side of that. And Blabber has just been relentless with these red buffs. I mean, he started red buff. He's stolen 2 away at least since the beginning of the game. So I think he's actually 3 for 3 on opposing red buffs. I don't think that Closer has gotten any of them except for the one he stole from Cloud9 at the beginning of the game. Yeah. So Blabber, you know, farming well. But that being said, you know, it's not as though Blabber has gotten a million kills and gotten way out ahead. I'm going to be curious, though, how this next fight looks like in 3.5 minutes because Cloud9 got the first 2 dragons. I think 100 Thieves will want to contest at that next one. And Blabber does have the Gore Drinker. He's going to be ready to go. A lot of these mythic completions are going to be coming through, and we'll just have to kind of evaluate how strong those teams are in 3 minutes when that spawns.
On Rift again as the champions move around the map. Cloud9 sending their duo towards the top side. I love this, by the way, smart by Sven. I know a lot of players will be doing this, but you know, when you got nothing to do in a lane, just follow your jungler around for a second, you know, get a couple of souls from the camps he's taking. It's, you know, as good of soul income as going to a lane in the first place. You're, in fact, letting the Tahm Kench get some solo XP, which can be pretty good as well. And, yeah, still stacking up. So Sven helping put the wards down. Of course, you can't really ward anything from top lane, so fall around, do that kind of stuff. Now Ryoma in a scuffle with Perks. Bit of damage back and forth. Blue buff on the Azir means infinite mana, and ultimately just going to wave clear back, so no fight to be had.
Yep, I like the Leandri's choice here from Ryoma. You're going to be hitting frontline pretty much the entire time, you would think. And having that burn is going to be fairly effective here. It could go into just a kind of a pure anti-tank build, I think, and be fairly effective. You know, didn't pit stop for any defensive items or anything like that, which I think is important. You know, there's so much of a reliance on this Jinx to be able to get through that front line in a reasonable amount of time, because that is what so many of these team fights are going to depend upon. So building correctly, I think, in this game.
Alrighty, Herald summoned to finish mid lane. They didn't auto-attack this thing almost at all for most of this game. Herald number 1 and Herald number 2. Cloud9's like, how do we get rid of mid? I don't know, it's Azir, it's not gonna happen. 2 Heralds at it, that'll do it. And 2 Heralds indeed it is. First turret goes mid, and that's objective control. That's just good play, honestly. Well done, FBI finally takes the lantern back, tries to trade back, but careful. Tongue lashes a slow, and
Closer's coming,
sidesteps. Closer's here again, flash follow hook, oh, it nearly landed. Zen flashed the way Vulcan knew he could run fast enough.
Yeah, just barely not able to connect there. That one could have been pretty big. Closer pressing, but Cloud9 have just dominated the neutral games. The fact that they actually did a split map, got all the dragons, all the heralds. FBI will be able to grab gold here from this tower. Should be able to knock that one down, no problem. But Cloud9 already down on that bot side, looking to set up, and Blabber heading over here towards Someday. So Someday definitely needs to back
Fudge! it up. The guy's 400 health left. Fudge! Fudge! Are you gonna solo kill an Aatrox? You nearly did. You're 1 and 2. You're not allowed to do this. Hey, Someday. Hey, Someday. That's an axe. Oh, that's a dash. Second axe. Senna? Oh, barely. Someday. Good job, Living.
Yeah, he's going to be able to get out. And that actually probably means that Olaf ultimately will not be up for this dragon fight, which could potentially be pretty big. The cooldown on that is quick, so I might have my timings a little bit wrong. But nearly there. Couldn't quite get the kill. Does cost them some of the ultimates, which is going to make that dragon fight potentially harder. Senna definitely will not have the ultimate in 25 seconds when that does spawn. But of course, Cloud9 have the option to not take that fight. They're the ones that are not really being pressured by it. But I do think they want to move towards that potential win condition, grab themselves the Infernal Soul potentially here in about 10 minutes.
Okay. Let's see. Cloud9 are running down. This is dragon number 3 for them. Infernal Soul, very highly prized by pro teams. We'll see if they can make that one happen. Mid lane pushed in. Someday just going to have to clear it second, so he's very much spotted. We have seen top laners fight many ways before. They've still gotten flanks. We'll see if it happens this time around. Perks with a couple of wards, though, as well. And, yeah, there's no good opportunities yet for this Aatrox being marked somewhat by the Orianna. Blabber's Olaf as well. TP comes down now for Fudge as it's time for Sion to join the fight. And let's see if the flanks can happen, what the front line's going to look like, what the back line's going to look like. Fudge still holding the line. Does have ulti in a second. Blabber has it as well. Someday does on top. So our buttons are up there. And let's see. FBI still looking for Zap Poke. Can't find it
Hard
yet.
to fight
Look
through
at the next shots, though. Knock up. Gonna almost find Closer. Lantern gets him back to safety. Hook's going to hit the front line. Not going to be a big problem. Here comes the forward motion. It's time for the play. And who he's going to drop. That's a good pickup. And back goes the Olaf. Someday can't find his way in just yet, but FBI still firing. Fudge could be a target.
Oh, the shockwave!
3! And the shuffle back buys a bit of time, but it's not going to be enough. It will save the Jinx, but it will not get anything more. As the Azir falls, the Dragon follows, and Cloud9 are on soul point.
Perks coming up huge for Cloud9. They're finding the 3-man shockwave after who he is already dead. Cloud9 win out big. Ryoma had a nice follow-up there after the shockwave to land his ulti, but it's too little too late. In goes Huhi. They decide now is the time. Huhi has stepped too far forward, did not have his flash available. Blabber goes in, gets the kill, backs it up. Closer has already been pushed out of the fight, and then right here, so beautifully placed by Perks, catching the top laner, the mid laner, the ADC, all with the shockwave. And Ryoma, yes, got a good scoop himself, but at that point, they had already lost the fight. His team is being pushed back, so there's no follow-up there to get anything done.
Shout out to Vulcan for a nice played fight as well. It can be hard to express skill on Tahm Kench, but he saw the Jinx ult coming and walked up and solo tanked it and prevented Splash from hitting any of his teammates. He just, here you go.
Nice.
Hit my body, no one else, stayed healthy enough, so that was a nice play as well. All of Cloud9, I think, hit really nicely in that battle. And the gold difference is still sub 1,000. Like, this is clearly a winnable game. And keep in mind, half that gold lead is on a 2,000 gold lead Tahm Kench. Like, who cares? What's that going to do for you except be, I guess, a bit of beef? But you're one away from Dragon's Soul in 340.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that is going to be really big for them. And you can also see it's like, despite all the pressure on Fudge, what has it really done? You know, the Aatrox can't actually really hurt Sion at all anymore. You know, unless Sion opts into like 100-0, I'm just going to stand here and fight you type fight, it's tough for Someday to really get any advantage. Sion has such good wave clear. He's really tough to push out a lane at this point in the game once he gets some levels and items under his belt. So they have a lot going for them. I really do like the Cloud9 comp. So much pressure as a result will be on FBI and Ryoma to be just dominating in these fights, and we can see it is Kraken Slayer. So, you know, all aboard the tank killing train here, Kraken Slayer, as well as the Leandries, just going to be trying to burn down that front line. But, you know, generally speaking, for me, I don't think that Jinx really starts destroying champions until like 3 items. You know, when you're talking about, you know, PD plus IE or Hurricane plus IE, at that point, that's where I really think Cloud9 have to be more concerned about their front line just flopping over to the combined might of Vinazir and Jinx, but that still gives them a tremendous amount of time. And they're only, you know, 2.5, 3 minutes away from Soul.
Yep, and that's scary because you're not, you maybe finish the Zeal upgrade. You might get Hurricane or Phantom Dancer. I think it's actually a reasonably close call in most games, though triple frontline is probably just Hurricane every time. Fudge literally just ignores Aatrox. It's like, I'm just killing this cannon minion.
Yep.
That's nice. See ya, bud. Thumbs up. I'm out.
That's the matchup.
Nice camp, by the way. I'm up levels on you.
Mm-hmm. I mean, unless you're Fiora or something like that, or like maybe Camille, but even Camille, I think it's pretty tough to actually pressure. There's very few melee carries that can continue to pressure a Sion, you know, in that 1v1 unless he is just comically behind. It is really, really difficult. So oftentimes, I think the better option is just picking for the team comp or picking something that can kind of scale alongside the Sion. So, you know, for Someday, it's going to be about the team fights. You know, can he find that flank? Can he actually, you know, take over in a team fight where he gets onto Perks and gets onto Sven and wins them a fight in that manner? Because all the pressure for that top lane doesn't mean anything in the 1v1 at all.
Sure, but I mean, Perks knows firsthand. Korean top laners in a foreign league on Aatrox taking down Perks and his teammates. And we're about to go to Dragon number 4 in that Faded River. So Someday, do your best to Shy impression, buddy. Let's see it.
I don't know if you want to be the Shy this year, though. You know, the
no. The Shy would do on Worlds. That's fine.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see if he can pull it off. Someday has some incredible team fighting, so the potential is certainly there. Fudge, though, Thornmail completed. He is a tanky boy. A Vulcan going to be extremely difficult to fight through here as well. And we'll see where Sven wants to take us for his second item, as he does have the Kraken Slayer. We can see Perks is on 2 items, so a lot of items really starting to come through here. If Blabber could get Sterix before that next fight for Soul, that would be huge for Cloud9, but still needs a fair bit of gold, and there's only 40 seconds until it spawns.
Okay, a little sidestep there for Fudge. Gets away from Someday's initial knockback, and now FBI has to get Lantern back. Nearly gets interrupted. A flash follow-in for Olaf. Just going to run him down, and there was no counterplay. Nothing you could have done. Maybe a Gale Force, maybe not. Either way, the star carry is dead, and a hook doesn't mean anything either as he gets spit back over the wall. So Cloud9 could do no wrong, and Dragon spawns in 17 seconds.
Look at FBI's flash timer. There's just a sliver of cooldown on that. He barely did not have it. It's just coming up now, so to be fair, it was probably 10, 15 seconds still before it would have been up when he did die. But him going down very likely means this is just a free soul. You can see the closer's actually going to base. They're just going to give it up here. Cloud9 find the key pick prior to that dragon spawn. FBI grabs himself a last whisper here, but it's tough. You know, they use the Lantern to actually avoid the Sion ulti, which is, of course, the correct play. You can't allow the Jinx to just be hit by that and then die. But now Lantern's on cooldown, and Blabber realizes that and just says, all right, it's go time. Your flash is on cooldown. There's no Lantern available. I am going to flash on you, and you are dead.
Yeah, pretty beautiful. Nicely done. Nicely done by Cloud9. Fudge once again sees a wave and sees the fact that he's still overleveled on Someday, and it's like, you really can't do anything about this one. Yeah, you got the ganks. We had the closer flash on me several times. Don't care. We're good on this one. I'm a tank. We're frontlining. I'm stacking armor. It's not going to be a problem. Ryoma going to be maybe the primary threat as a result, waiting until he can finish Nasher's Tooth to maybe turn that one around. But this is very Cloud9. I mean, the gold is still reasonably close, but with Soul, it's more like 8K.
Yeah, it's a lot when you add that in, and just any little bit of poke, especially when you're fighting against champions who can easily land that. Blabber, though, in some trouble, potentially.
Ulti comes in time to not get hooked back. It's a big heal. The Rocket hits nothing. Perks shockwaves Ryoma and nearly finds the kill.
Oh, the
Shuffle
scoop
is a 1-for-1. The scoop back on a Blabber keeps him alive still. FBI loses two-thirds of his health, a third of his health from just a single auto attack. Huhi has to run away. Vulcan is invincible, by the way. Huhi is not. Goodbye, dies to Fudge. Someday can't join this fight. You can't fight anymore. FBI is such an easy target. He's going to run away. He's going to get slowed almost. Has to flash to safety yet again as Closer runs, and Someday does the same. Has a blast plant, but not a lot of room to go. He could still be chased down. Blasts over his Fudge. Hello, hey look, it's me in the 1v2. But this time you're stuck with me and I've got backup. Anchor nearly gonna land. The axe, I should say, can't quite catch Someday. They're done. They're done. They only got 3 kills for 1, but you like that all the same.
Yeah, Ryoma had a really nice ulti there, but it was not enough, and it was with his dying breath he got that out. And you can just see how effective that Infernal Soul is in a fight like this. The Senna has such long range with all the souls. You can see he's almost up to 100 soul stacks in the bottom left there, sitting on 96. So his range is getting really, really high. It's so easy for him to apply that additional proc. You know, he gets a couple autos out on you, and these carries were just melting.
Yep, it's beautiful. Ooh. Okay, not going to mean too much there. Just shoving it in and leaving. And it will be time to reset fairly soon. Most members have not shot that battle, but they're looking at Baron instead. They've got the control ward down. It's full fog of war, and they're starting.
Yeah, there's no flashlight on anyone except Closer, right? So I think that is the reason here. They feel like they could get a turn potentially, as those carries are vulnerable, but Closer is in the area, and he does have flash, so he could actually go for the steal here.
Okay, flashes over the Rocket, and the steal comes through. That's twice in a row now that has been picked up. That's a pretty beautiful one, but otherwise it's not going to mean much. Fudge going to frontline. Keep in mind, it's 5v4 for Cloud9. Tom Kench brings some teammates over. Sent ult over the top. Perks is in for the shockwave. And goodbye Someday, the only man left. Cloud9, you can take their Baron, but they're going to take your lives.
Closer, huge steal, makes it a little bit better for him, but still Cloud9 finding the fight off the back of it, getting a 4-for-0 play there. Going to be able to get even more gold. You can see the Baron buff, the power play in that top right, not looking that powerful. Negative 1,200 thus far. 100 Thieves has about the best they could hope is getting that steal, but they couldn't actually get out after it. Closer has been huge for them around these Baron pits. You know, 2 games in a row now, does actually land the steal. Able to knock that down in Blabber's face, but he dies immediately for it. And then the Scion ulti in, the Tom Kench flank here coming through. They cannot escape. Perks flanking over the wall here, flashes in, shockwave on both the carries, absolutely deleted them. And he is close to the death cap at this point here too. Ooh. What?
Okay, chance to play.
Ooh.
Vulcan is alone 1v3. He is flashless. Yep. Reinforcements were coming. Sorry, but he's a farmed Tom Kench. He's level 12. You're not getting this one. Out you go. Oh, that's a heartbreak. That's a decent hook, and it's decent damage, but yeah, Vulcan gets shielded back up. Shockwave, you caught Closer. Time to get away. This is 4v2 as far as they know, and they're like, yeah, too much for me. And here comes the 5v2, by the way, because Aatrox's still top lane, and all of Cloud9 are here, and they know it. Not going to land the Scion Opie. They are going to land on a Ryoma. He can't get in any farther. Shovels one back. Not going to matter there either. Easy sidestep. Blabber gets himself away. Another kill. This one goes to Vulcan for the credit. His second kill of the game. And Cloud9, 12-3, are just running away with this one.
Yeah, Scion just can't be hurt. They just walk into any tower. Doesn't matter. You know, for him to break the shield, it's like 5 tower shots to break the Scion W. So at this point, turrets mean nothing. Cloud9 will just ignore it, will just dive you. If Aatrox is showing top, the tower has no defense at all. 400 Thieves, Cloud9 walk in, grab the inhibitor, can back it up, and set up for this potential Elder here. That is maybe the last hope here for 100 Thieves, that they could potentially steal away an Elder, get a big team fight win. Maybe you can make something happen. But of course, Cloud9 are in full control of this game, feel like there's no answer to the Scion whatsoever. And honestly, you know, with the LDR being picked up second in his seal and inventory, FBI is so far away from an IE. Ryoma is so far away from you know, Void Staff Death Cap type setup where maybe he could start to threaten that front line. It just feels like they're just being kind of out-earned across the map, and they just can't deal with the front line before they get knocked down by the carries, who are really strong. You know, Perks got his Death Cap down.
Yeah, even just Fudge himself has more gold than any of the individual carries under Thieves, save for Someday, who doesn't matter. Now, he himself went Black Cleaver. I like this choice, by the way, to grab the newly buffed Black Cleaver. It is an Armor Shred item to help set up for FBI. I think it's a very smart choice. It's just probably not going to matter, as this time around, Closer runs in with shields over the top, though. Not going to find the kills just yet, but Closer is the target. He's going to get away. Blabber comes in. Shockwave not going to find his target either. Rocket nearly kills Blabber. He's on one hit away from dead, but just barely slinks away with his life. You imagine he had a bit more gold, he would have died instead. The Root turns into Scion, turns into a kill into number 2. And now FBI going to be knocked up as well. He's stuck with nowhere to go. Kill number 3 comes across. Who he the target, flashes the way, Blast plants out. But a 5v2 in the base as Elder Dragon is being soloed by Blabber. They will take down the base, and Cloud9 will take the second game of the series.
Cloud9 looking really strong in this one. Fudge does not care about your towers. Someday will go down, insult to injury. 100 Thieves dying in the base.
Can they get on the Dragon first? Will they stop DPS? He gets the Dragon! An extra objective for Cloud9. What can't they do? They won't even die to the fountain as a stopwatch comes down for Vulcan. Keeps the Clutch Gaming Flare. Well done to the 2-0 start.